I hope I can catch another water-type Pokémon at this lake.
You've got plenty of time. I'm still waiting for this water to boil to make lunch.
Great!
Wow, the water is really warm.
Pika!
Sure is.
Hello, Officer Jenny. What's going on?
I'm here to check the lake's water level. It hasn't rained for a very long time. Because the area is experiencing a drought, we're all worried about the Pokémon that depend on this water.
Is there anything we can do to help? Pika-pee!
I'm afraid the only thing we can do is hope for some rain soon. Well, I better be on my way. Goodbye.
I wish we could do something.
Maybe Ciara knows a way to make it rain.
It's worth a shot. Hey, Dawn, will you watch the campfire while we call Ciara?
Sure. Come on, Piplup. Piplup! Hey, everyone.
Hi, Ciara. We thought you might be able to help us. We're at this lake, but the water level is dropping because there's a drought in the area.
But since the water level has dropped, Officer Jenny is worried about the wild Pokémon that live here.
Yeah, so how do you make it rain?
Actually, all that water that evaporated from the lake is making rain as we speak.
Huh? Where?
Well, it's more like how. Water changes into many different forms, from big oceans to tiny droplets of rain, through a natural recycling process. Brock, you ever gonna throw some pasta in the pot? Half the water is gone already.
Wait, all the water boiled out?
I'm gonna have to start over. The water level is down for sure.
But how?
The way Brock's pot lost water while boiling under the heat of the campfire is similar to how the lake lost water under the heat of the sun. Huh? See that steam rising from Brock's pot of water?
Sure.
That's the water evaporating, or turning into steam. That's what happens to water when it gets hot enough. It turns into vapor.
But then what happens to the steam? It just disappears?
Nope, it rises, where it'll eventually turn into clouds, and then rain back down.
So what happened to the lake happened to the pot of boiling water? It's gonna turn into rain too?
So to speak, that's what happens in the water cycle.
So the water cycle is what makes the rain?
Well, the first step has to do with the water in the pot and the lake level dropping. The hot sun heats up the water in lakes, rivers, and oceans, causing some of the water to vaporize or turn into steam. This is called evaporation. Brock's boiling pot of water just uses fire to cause the same effect on the water.
Sounds like bodies of water sweat just like our bodies.
It's a little different. But we do sweat off water when we get hot, and so do rivers, lakes, oceans, and plants.
Plants sweat?
Yup, it's called transpiration. But where does all that water vapor go? Well, where does the water come from? You mean rain? Right. Where does rain come from? Clouds, of course. Of course. And that's where water vapor goes when it evaporates, into clouds. As the vapor rises in the sky, it gets cold. Like if I drop ice in my glass of water. See how the ice cools it off? See all this condensation on the side of the glass?
Yeah, like when you draw into stuff on a window.
That stuff is condensation, and it's the same stuff that makes up clouds. With the temperature change, the water vapor changes back into liquid. Then that cold liquid condenses and forms clouds.
So clouds are made up of condensation?
That's right. But like my mom says, after the clouds must come rain. You got it. See the sides of my glass of water, how there are droplets running down? Yeah, like rain. That's because it is like rain. When there's so much water condensed into a cloud that it just can't hold it anymore, it has to fall back down from the sky to the ground in the form of precipitation.
As rain.
Or snow, or hail, or sleet. It depends on the weather.
But how does it know to fall back into the rivers or oceans it came from?
Well, it doesn't exactly. It could fall in another body of water, or it could just fall to the ground and get absorbed into the soil.
Like in spring, when the snow melts and everything starts to bloom.
Right on. But when rain or snow hits a mountain, it has to make its way down to the ground. And the water runoff from mountains flows down and collects at the bottom in the valley. This final step of the water cycle is called collection.
Then after all that, the water collects and it begins to evaporate again?
You know it. Water is in this constant cycle of evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and collection. That's easy peasy. Wow, that's a good way to remember it. The water cycle is easy peasy. I think like you're really getting it.
Too bad we can't get it to rain here.
I guess we'll just have to wait. Hey, in the meantime, why don't we make it rain in my lab?
How are you going to do that?
With a little experiment. Wanna help?
Yeah!
Awesome. Now let's recreate the water cycle. So, I put some water in this jar to make a mini lake. Now what should I do to make some of this lake evaporate and turn into steam? Right on. If you turn up the heat on water, it turns into vapor. So now let's turn up the heat. I'm using a hot plate in the lab, but can you tell me, in the natural water cycle, what heats the water? Right on! The sun is hot, hot, hot. It heats up our bodies as well as bodies of water. What happens when the water gets hot? Right on! The recipe for vapor or steam is when you take water and add heat. Well, it's getting pretty steamy in there. Now, what happens to the water vapor as it rises in the sky? All right, it cools off to form clouds in the sky. So let's let things in the lab cool off. Right on. The water gets too heavy in the clouds and falls back down. Look, in the jar, the water is sliding back down the sides. What happens to the water after it falls back to the ground? That's right, and it's collecting back at the bottom of this jar as we speak. And that completes the water cycle. I can't believe you can make that happen in a lab. Anything's possible.
Oh, yeah. I think I just felt a raindrop.
Rain!
Since the water cycle is now in precipitation, we better run for shelter at the Pokémon Center. Bye, Ciara.
See you later. Phew! We made it.
Yeah, and now I just hope that there's enough rain to fill the lake back up, so there's plenty for all the Pokémon.
It's raining pretty hard. I think it's going to go on for a while.
I know. Let's go through it while we're wading through it. Can you help us put the water cycle together? Watch what happens. Then, drag and drop the name of the water cycle step onto the illustration. You may use the same term more than once.
Awesome! Awesome! All right! Awesome! Awesome! All right!
Way to go.
You got the steps of the cycle down pat. Can you put it all together in order? Using this circle chart, drag the icons into order so the arrows make the water cycle flow.
All right! All right!
Way to go.
Awesome! All right, we did it! We not only went through the water cycle, we outlasted the rain. Hey, look at all those Pokémon at the lake.
Yup, thanks to the rain, I'm happy to report the water level is on its way back to normal.
Yeah!
Yeah, it's definitely good news for the people and Pokémon in this region.
Hey, where's Piplup? Piplup! 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 Piplup, there you are. Oh, water types. You just had to play in the rain, huh? Cute. Piplups are very own precipitation, I guess. Water is a delicious drink, but the only way to make it truly evaporate in thin air is to turn up the heat. Try again. Adding salt makes the water boil at a higher temperature, but first you gotta turn up the heat. Try again. So now let's turn up the heat. Actually, fire can heat water up, but there's something in the sky that naturally heats everything up. Try again. The soil contains water and minerals, and it may be warm, but there's something in the sky that naturally heats everything up. Try again. Solid ice melts, but liquid water turns into a gas called vapor. Try again. It's got a couple more steps to go before it can become a stream. Now it's just vapor. Try again. The vapor in the sky has already heated up and vaporized. Now it's time to cool off. Try again. It's got to form clouds before the droplets can fall. Try again. Actually, when the clouds get too heavy, they have to drop some water. Try again. Actually, ice may melt in the sun, but clouds don't. They have to drop the water back down. Try again. Some water may collect in the ocean, but there's more than one place where rain falls. Try again. Some water may collect in the soil, but there's more than one place where rain falls. Try again. I can't believe you can make that happen in a lab. Anything's possible.
Oh, yeah. I think I just felt a raindrop. Try again.
Try again.
Try again.
Try again.
Try again. Try again.
All right, we did it! We not only went through the water cycle, we outlasted the rain!